Most people get into powerlifting by getting into the sport first and then they compete. So they'll train the squat, bench, and deadlift specifically before they sign up for a competition. They usually train that for a long period of time, many months, sometimes even years before they actually compete. I got into powerlifting in the complete opposite way, where I actually signed up for a competition first, and then later I fell in love with the sport, and mainly because of the community. So at my first meet, people could clearly tell that I was a complete noob and knew nothing about powerlifting. I bought my singlet the day of the meet. I bought my wrist wraps the day of the meet. And I even bought deadlift socks the day of the meet. I didn't even know you needed special socks to cover your shin so you don't bleed all over the bar. My first squat attempt, I remember that when I went down, I came back up and I was extremely rocky. Everyone in the audience, all 20 people, were like, oh, I think they thought I was gonna injure myself. So that's how much of a noob I was. But as soon as I was done, the people that were in my weight class, instead of going, yes, I'm gonna beat this motherfucker today, they're like, hey, come over here. First of all, what you need to do is you gotta push your knees out and try to focus at a point across the room so you can balance your arms out. And I'm like, wow, I'm competing against you. Well, technically I'm competing against you, and this guy is helping me. And later on, it made me realize that at the end of the day, in the powerlifting sport, everyone really is just competing against themselves. And it was the sense of community that really brought me into the sport of powerlifting. So when we opened Barbell Brigade, it was really, really important to us to create the best training facility possible, which means people can slam the weights, use chalk, have foam rollers, all kinds of accessory equipment. But more importantly, we wanted to capture the sense of community that was at the powerlifting meets that wasn't at a commercial gym. When you go to a powerlifting gym, specifically Barbell Brigade, when you walk in the room, not only do you see everyone's names and faces, but you know what everyone's PRs and what their record lifts are. All the members keep track of each other's progress and they hold each other accountable to make sure that they're all hitting their goals. So we opened Barbell Brigade in the October of 2013, and I think it's 100% due to the sense of community that we were able to create. The first 20 core members told their friends, and then those friends told their friends, and everyone started to come in and train together, and everyone was hitting PRs nonstop together, and our team just kept growing and growing and growing. The community at Barbell Brigade didn't just grow by itself, it was also because the sport of powerlifting itself was growing. I think that sense of community is so evident in powerlifting that itself became contagious, and Barbell Brigade and powerlifting started growing together. When we outgrew Barbell Brigade 1.0 and we started to look for a location for Barbell Brigade 2.0, it was really important for us to find a location that was at least 2 times bigger. And when we finally found a new location and it was time to move, what really, really surprised me and almost brought tears of joy to me was when not only did our staff help in the moving, but almost half of the gym helped in the moving. Everyone was volunteering, and if you watch the old videos, people were taking down weights, people were pulling mats out, people were loading trucks, volunteering their vehicles, and we would be in this giant 5-10 car convoy all the way to the new location, and everyone was just unloading, and that sense of community reached its peak. Like, that is a sense of team spirit I have never felt before. So once we got into our new location, our membership started growing again. And with more members, there are more needs. And because of that, we started buying all kinds of barbells that you could think of, a lot more machines, and we pretty much have every single piece of equipment that any powerlifter could ever dream of.
When I first joined Barbell, one of the main things I noticed that everyone was a family. I know a lot of times you go to a business and even right away, even if it's a new customer, you can have employees bickering at one another or something like that. And that was not even the case. Every single member that came in, pretty much the staff knew their name. The staff even remembered me from coming in a month ago. And that was just unseen or unheard of to me, because going to LA Fitness, it was just, oh, scan your tag, walk in, scan your tag, walk in. They're sitting on their phone, they're doing a bunch of bullshit. And you can just tell that they weren't, Barbell staff wasn't being nice to me just because I was paying to go there. It was because they were genuinely nice people. And it was an amazing first impression. One of the main things I noticed that kind of almost sold me on it, not only just the amazing staff, was the environment that you're able to lift in. You walked in, the music was blasting. When someone is maxing, regardless if you're a new lifter just squatting 225 pounds or whether you're one of the big guys squatting 750, and even if you don't know their name or this is the first time you've seen them, they'll come over, give you a high five, great job, great fucking lift, or even if you miss it, hey, great try, you know, you'll get it on the next one. Just everyone is so supportive and encouraging, and you're able to just slam and throw the weights around, and just you're able to lift weights in an environment that allows you to just lift weights however you want to, and you're not allowed to do that anywhere else.
Over the last couple of years, powerlifting has grown so much, and even the sport itself changed. When I first competed, there were only around 20 to 40 lifters, and everyone competed with a suit, which is like single ply or multi-ply. But now everyone competes raw. Back in those days, I think I was literally the only Asian at the meet. And now there are a ton of Asians. And back then, the stereotypical powerlifter looked like a semi-truck driver or a plumber or a tow truck driver. But now when you go to a powerlifting meet, there are all kinds of people. There are grandmas, there are little Asian girls, there are people that do physique, there's bodybuilders, there's a huge crossover now, and the entire sport itself and the community along with it changed completely.
My name is Steve Dennison. I'm the president of the United States Powerlifting Association. I've been in the sport for 32 years. I started powerlifting in June 1984. You know, back when I started powerlifting, everybody was single ply. There was no anything called raw or classic raw or multiply or single ply. Everybody wore, you know, gear. It was just accepted back then. And then as the sport evolved and gear started changing, and then you saw the raw division come in. And it's just, you know, because of that, it's made the sport grow tremendously. To me, it's like the new CrossFit. You know, it's taken off like I've never seen before. We have probably close to 200 meets this year across the United States in 42 states. And part of that is the resurgence of the sport through Raw. Part of it's through social media. CrossFitters coming over. I think Barbell Brigade has had a huge influence just because when Bart started this in 2013, he showed up to the Cap Pendleton meet. I never met Bart at all. He had this booth and he was selling a t-shirt. I'm like, okay, sure, no problem. And then next thing you know, Bart got a little bigger. He had a smaller gym before this one. I never saw the other gym, but it was a smaller gym. And there was a demand for something in this area in downtown LA, because it feeds people from all different areas around the LA basin. So there was a great support network in this area, and so I think Barbell Brigade has been a huge influence.
Although it's a huge goal for us to hold a powerlifting meet at Barbell Brigade, it was also very important for us to not let the powerlifting meet affect the gym itself. And it wasn't until we got the 6,000 square feet location, over 40 barbells, staffed up to 19 people, and open 24 hours. And now we feel like we're completely ready to hold a meet and be able to have the gym hit the ground running the very next day.
Finding out that Barbell was having its own powerlifting meet was so cool, because I know the first meet that I did down in January, already a lot of the Barbell family was there, and having everyone that you know there to support you feels so amazing. And now knowing that my home gym where I train at and where everyone kind of comes to, that they were gonna have their own powerlifting meet, meaning all the family that I get to train with and hang out outside the gym was going to be there, not just to watch me, but to support everyone in the Barbell family, was so special. Just because there's no other place where I feel as loved as Barbell. And so being able to do what I love, which is lifting, around people that I love, which is the Barbell crew, and even possibly have my family, my real family there, was just all added together, was something special that I couldn't have thought was possible.
And I'm really proud to say that we were able to capture that sense of community at Barbell Brigade's first meet. After the meet was over, so many people came up to me and told me that that was not only one of the smoothest meets that they've ever been to, but also one of the friendliest. At any given time when a lifter or a coach or a handler needed anything, our staff was there to help them out. And in addition to that, once again, we had volunteers. We had a whole entire list of volunteers that were there from morning until night, from 8 o'clock all the way until 4 p.m., just volunteering their time, and they weren't paid. And that's because everyone treats Barbell Brigade as their own home, and everyone can't help but want to provide the best environment for everyone else. So the sense of community was definitely achieved. And now that powerlifting has grown to such a big level, there are so many different teams now and there's so many different companies. But what was awesome is that I will still see different teams, different companies, different sponsors congratulate each other when people are able to achieve great lifts. To be able to see different companies and rivals acknowledge the excellence in each other. And that's what community is all about.
The workout is
Thigh
workout.
master
Yeah,
is
thigh
my
master.
next one.
Yeah.
Like that.
You're
Like that.
Clap, make
Yeah,
it clap.
Like that.
Video. He has the collection.
We get it, bro.
On
Oh,
Blu-ray.
wait. If you weren't sure, I was talking about the
Platinum
thigh
edition.